phone, in addition to the obvious limitations, the lack of clarity for my particular Android. There's also the inadvertent mishaps when you're trying to hold a phone, speak, and when you're trying to multitask. Basically, it doesn't. If you have the type of mindset that I do, it does not work. And if you have my technical inhibitions and lack of hand-to-eye coordination, that's what inevitably results. You inadvertently end the live stream when you didn't intend to have a 2-minute long live stream, but that's what happens when your thumb you misplace your thumb. But I'm going to try to improve upon it with this one. I'm going to be brief, but not that brief. Hopefully this can this live stream can come to fruition, and I don't have to do this don't have to attempt this a third time. Yeah, it went to private. I relisted it as public, as this is going to be, hopefully. Like I said, I'm not a fan of doing live streams with my phone, although it does kind of remind me of the Instagram lives that I used to do when I would just walk around. And I did this at the beginning of the pandemic and the lockdown, when they essentially shuttered the city. So I would go around and basically film my local neighborhood and adjacent neighborhoods, just walk around and upload that to Instagram. One of the interesting things is that over the past 2 years or so, I kind of discovered the utility of Instagram. Prior to that, I just thought, no, I mean, I do debates, and I do them not that often, maybe once or twice a year, sometimes more. It really depends. During the lockdown, obviously, I wasn't doing any in-person debates. I was doing mostly online debates. I did a couple of those with Wahhabi Muslims on Taqiyya Watch's defunct channel. Those were interesting. So yeah, I've been debating since I was in junior high school, pretty much. And I enjoy it. I don't enjoy debating people who come at it in bad faith, which is what I think iHypocrite was doing. And I think most of the people on that side of the ledger, they wouldn't necessarily, I mean, there might be exceptions, but I think I can think of very few public voices who hold my opinion on this issue and subsidiary issues on this hot button topic. I can think of very few people who come at it disingenuously. I mean, there might be some, but they come at it wanting to actually engage in debate. That actually would be interesting. I would definitely go on his show. I don't know if he would invite me. I don't know if I have the credentials. I don't have the ministerial credentials or the scientific credentials. I'm just a YouTuber, basically, who's done a lot of these things. So I don't know what the I don't know what the lure would be for him to have me, but I'm always willing to go on anyone's platform. And I do, Michael, yeah, Dr. Brian is a pretty fair-minded individual. I've seen the other debates he's moderated and participated in. I was actually at the debate he had with Shmuley Boteach, the guy, the Orthodox Orthodox Jewish rabbi who is a popular author. He debated the New Testament with him at. Hi, Richard. He debated the New Testament with him at, of all places, the Ethical Culture Society, which is this. It's basically a humanistic, atheist temple where they hold various events. And this was one of the events. It was actually kind of interesting. David Wood was there, as well as Vocab Malone and John LeCrae from What Do You Meme? He was there. There was a big group. Even Sam Shamoun was there. Meeting Sam Shamoun for the first time was an experience in itself. It was a fun evening. But yeah, someone like him, I would definitely have no hesitation going on that type of platform. Hey, Alejandro. Yeah, Atheist Temple. It's kind of an oxymoron, but that's. I don't know if any of you have actually been to the Ethical Culture Society. It's sort of, I guess it's akin to, if any of you have heard of the Unitarian Universalists, it's sort of like that. They don't believe in any sort of deity or creator. They're very, they're humanistic, more or less. Not humanist, not in the sense of humanism in the Reformation era, people who wanted to interpret the Bible for themselves and had ideas that went against the grain of the Catholic Church, but humanism in the secular sense of the term. I don't know if I've ever called. It's funny. I'm trying to think if I've ever called into. I have called into podcasts before and online radio shows. Dr. Perry. I don't know if there have been any doctors in the Perry family. I know my father had a cousin, Ken Jowett, who has a PhD. He actually teaches at Cal Berkeley, although I think he's retired. He might be a professor emeritus right now. He was a scholar at Hoover. He studied post-communist or post-Stalinist communism in Europe, and he actually lived in Romania for quite some time. His wife was Romanian, or is Romanian. I'm not sure if she's still alive, but he lives out in California. I wasn't saying I would debate him. I was. We were actually talking about an earlier debate I had between me and iHypocrite about the COOF pass and inoculations and similar subjects, where I thought the experience kind of soured me on debating that particular topic, because I just think it would be hard to find an opponent who would debate in good faith, which I think should be a basic metric. If you're going to agree to participate in a public debate, you should do so in good faith. And I think that's one of the problems with debating hardcore Muslim dogmatists. You have individuals like Shabir Ali, who are really heterodox type of a really heterodox type of Muslim who's willing to actually approach the debate from a Western standpoint, at least. And they're the exception rather than the rule. Most of the debaters you see are people like Muhammad Hijab and these other really ridiculous people. And ultimately, it's kind of fruitless if you can't engage in debate in a good faith effort, and you can't agree to some basic ground rules beforehand, or if you decide to change the rules, which is what happened in my debate. As if you decide to change the rules as the debate proceeds, then it's really kind of pointless. It doesn't make a lot of sense to continue or persist in that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of people agreed with him. And again, that could be just because his audience, and he got a huge backlash when he made the first video on this subject and on his decision. He got a lot of backlash. So I mean, the people, partially the reaction were people who disagreed with him, but I do think he did not acquit himself well. And I don't say that to speak highly of myself, because I've seen him in other debates, and even in debates where theoretically he should have had a much stronger position, where he was holding the moral high ground, he performed very poorly. Like he's debated Marxists and people with very bizarre ideologies in the past, and even in those debates, he hasn't really excelled. So I don't think I was an exception in that regard. But I mean, the fact that the fact is, you can't even debate this subject on YouTube without receiving strikes. You know, they're censoring and restricting what you can even say on this topic. So it's, even from that standpoint, it's very difficult to get out any sort of message that's running counter to the established propaganda, basically. I mean, especially now, it's getting progressively worse. Of course, they're getting rid of dislikes. So you can't even express, if there's a message from a government agency or a bureaucrat that YouTube wants to push out, and you dissent, if you disagree with that, you can't even express your disagreement that way. Forget about posting negative comments or uploading videos that are critical. You can't even put a thumbs down. You can't even press the thumbs down. Of course, the creators can see the thumbs down. You can press it, but you're not. It's not going to register with the public. So if they look at a video uploaded by the NIH or the CDC, and they want to express dissent from that, they're going to think that video has unanimous approval of the people watching it, which is ridiculous. But I never say never. Like I said, if there's someone on this topic who's willing to engage in a good faith manner, who actually understands the rules of debate, I'd definitely be willing to entertain that proposition. I could actually the wrench thing is funny. I'm gonna see if I can actually I would actually try to give you a wrench using, the thing is, I'm so inept at streaming on mobile that my attempt to give you administrative power would probably result in the stream ending. That's how okay, I'm being kicked out, so ironically I'm gonna have to end this anyway. But Alejandro, Richard, Tower Time, I'm glad all of you came, and time.